So he might have a little bit of a problem. Let's talk about it. So Jamarr Chase last night, if you watched the game with me or just by yourself, you saw a play where Joe threw a 60-yard pass down the field to Jamarr Chase in double coverage. Jamarr Chase tried everything humanly possible to catch that ball because in the game it was not going his way and he wanted to make an insane grab. He ended up getting flipped upside down, and when he fell to the ground, he smashed his lower back. He was on the sideline getting, pressuring, massaging things on him. I guess like a massaging band or massaging, strap around him to work on his back. They put cream on his back and ointment on his back. It was just, it was a mess. And the rest of the game, he didn't really have a catch. And it was kind of like, okay, well, is he okay? Is he hurt? Is it just like, he's just massaging his back because he hit the ground weirdly, got the wind knocked out of him? What's going on? Well, then we have Paul here who posted this. Now, this is a credible source that, always posts about the Cincinnati Bengals. We know this person, so we know this is credible. Jamarr Chase is making it sound like his back injury will be something worth monitoring. Concerned tone to be certain from him. And here's what it is entirely. I'm just going to support my teammates, man. Let those guys do what they got to do. Only thing I can do is get healthy for the team. Now, we know, based on last season, when Jamarr got hurt, right? And he said it himself, going into the season about the whole Joe Burrow injury. If Jamar's not 100%, he's not going to go out there and play, right? And that's not him saying like, oh, I don't want to go out there and, I don't want to hurt myself to play football. No, I mean, if he thinks that, listen, what Jamarr thinks about is the end of the season. He thinks about the postseason. He thinks about the Super Bowl, right? So if he's not 100% and he thinks in his head, which is very logical, that he potentially could hurt himself and miss the Super Bowl or miss the postseason or miss the games that matter the most, especially because most likely we're going to 99.9% chance at the last two games, we're going to make the playoffs, right? We're going to. So if he knows that in his head, how he's probably thinking, and this is based on what, he says, is that let me not be stupid here and go out there and push myself and risk injuring myself even more and hurting myself even more just for maybe helping us win 1 or 2 games or 1 or 2, 3, 4 games. And again, I don't think it's a serious injury, but even if it's like a little bit of an injury, there's no real reason to go out there and push yourself. We saw T. Higgins last night go off. Tyler Boyd had a great game. Drew Sample, Tano Hudson, and obviously Irv Smith. We had so many good options last night. Yoshi even got a pass. So at the end of the day, I think we didn't do this with Joe, with sitting him because of his injury. And it happened, in the end it worked out for us, right? But if Jamarr doesn't feel 100%, I have no issue at all with him sitting. I think he has earned that. With how good he has played, I think he earns the chance to say, hey, you know what, Jamarr? You are right. You were right about Joe. It worked out for us, but you were right. And now we want you to be as healthy as possible for that postseason. And that Week 17 game versus the Chiefs. That's personal. So, yeah, I have no problem with this. And I think the best case scenario would be to just rest him, right? We play the Texans next week, which is going to be the easy game. It's not an easy game. Nothing is easy moving forward. Every game is tough. But that's going to be an easier game compared to our statement games. Again, the Jags, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and obviously the Browns moving forward. So some of these games, like, the Texans game, if you don't go out there with Jamarr Chase, it's not going to be game-changing, right? We didn't have T. Higgins on a couple games, and we still were able to move the ball. We, obviously, it's going to suck not having Chase out there, but what we need is what we saw against the Bills. We need Tanner Hudson to start making more plays. T. Higgins to step up. Irv Smith to get included. Drew Sample. So, I'm, in all honesty, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter a lot of other fan bases, and it's really effed up, man. It's really effed up when I see other fan bases making light of this, of like, oh yeah, the Bengals thought they were so good. Look at this, now their star receiver's hurt. That's really effed up. It really is. Because just because, you might not want us to be great, or whatever the case, you just don't like when a team goes from like, you think they're going to do good this season, and then they do bad, and then now they're good again. Never root for injury. And it's not everybody. It's a small percentage of people I saw over Twitter and other websites that were kind of making like enjoyment out of this. And some of them were Chiefs fans, but not all of them were. So it is what it is at the end of the day, NFL fans will be NFL fans. But I'm okay with this. And I think, what Brian Callahan said in the idea that more players outside of just Chase needs to step up, I agree with it. I definitely agree with this. Now, of course, going forward, we play the Texans, we play the Ravens, and then we play the Steelers. It's going to be tough without Chase if we don't have him for the Steelers game or the Texans, or the Ravens game. But who knows? Maybe, he doesn't go out for the Texans game. He sits out for a week, and he does look good. And he does, get better. And he does feel 100% ready for those other games, right? So, again, I know a lot of people might see this and feel doom and gloom and be like, oh, come on, man, this is awful. We just got going again. In the end, this is what needs to be done. And I think Jamarr Chase is going to do what's best for Jamarr Chase in the aspect of he knows what's best for his body. He knows what's best for this season. And again, as always, he is focused on that postseason. He is focused on that Super Bowl. He is focused on that stuff. He said at the beginning of the season about Joe, that at the end, Joe, if you miss a couple games, it's okay. We need you for the postseason. We need you when the game counts. We need you when it matters the most. And I will say, overall-wise, the last thing I will kind of make iteration here, or statement here, is again, keep in mind, last year, he said he could have came back one game earlier, and he didn't, because he said it wouldn't have been correct for his body, because he could re-injure himself or injure himself worse if he did. So again, there's all this, hoopla about this. Chase will be fine. Chase will be fine. He'll be okay. If he doesn't go out there, we're going to have T, we're going to have Tyler Boyd, Yoshi. Where the heck is Chuck Sizzle? Why is he still on the IR? My bad. And we're going to have Kwame probably out there too. And then again, like I said before, some other guys potentially with Tanner Hudson trying to get more involved. And as long as we do that, we get Joe Mixon the ball, Travion Williams the ball, this offense will be fine versus the Texans. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.